G'day and welcome to another fountain pen review. Today I'll be reviewing a pen that's fairly common nowadays. It's the Ahab Flex pen. This one's the Cobalt Creeper. These pens have become quite popular due to their low price and your ability to customise and modify them. So you pull it out of the box, you got the box with the nice little bits of drawings around it. Then you pull it out, you get your pen in the sleeve, and you also get a little sheet. On one side of the sheet, you have Ahab, and from the book. And on the other side, you've got instruction manual, how to use it, how to fill it, how to modify it. It's a good little bit of information there, especially if you haven't used one before. So then we have the pen. So cobalt blue is a semi-translucent blue colour. I also have Amazon green, which is a pearlescent colour, and a clear demonstrator. This one, when you hold it up to the light, you can see quite clearly through it, which is quite handy if you want to know how much ink you have left. These are quite large pens. That was the first thing that really hit me when I first ever saw one in person, was how large it was. Then the second thing that hit me was the fairly well famous Noodlers smell, which is a plasticky, rubbery type smell. Personally, I don't think it's too bad, and it tends to go away with a bit of age. So the clip on these pens are, they're okay for the price range. You can they fit well over a clip and they do their job properly. They have Noodlers ink written down the front there. There's nothing on the cap, it's just a bit of blue plastic. On the end there's nothing here, but you do have a bit of a taper on the other end of the pen, and I think that's to do with when you're actually posting the pen. You've got a silver band around here with two lines going through it, and it says Noodlers ink as well. And you unscrew tight, and you've got your pen there. Does post fairly securely, turns into a fairly large pen, but due to the light weight, it doesn't overbalance it. The new thing that makes the Noodlers Ahab and the Conrad and that so special is the special flex nib on it. It allows it to spread open a lot further and give you a lot more line variation. These pens also one of the only cheap pens that I know of that actually have a ebonite feed, which means you can modify it and play with it, which I'll show you in the writing sample on how to increase ink flow when you first get your Ahab. These use a piston system, so you dip it in the ink, or you push down, dip it in the ink, then pull back up. Fills up into this top section first, then fills up here. These pens store quite a large amount of ink, which is quite impressive. You can also convert them to a eyedropper by removing this, putting a bit of silicone on around the threads there, and you can thread it on. They make quite a good eyedropper as well, which holds a phenomenal amount of ink. These pens are quite nice. Like I said, the smell goes away, and they're quite a large pen. The dimensions for this pen are the length capped is 139mm, uncapped it's 128mm, posted it becomes quite a large 170mm. The grip section at the smallest point is 10mm, and the barrel goes up to a 14mm size. The weight with the cap is 18.8 grams, and without the cap it's only 12 grams. So it's a large pen for if you've got a bit bigger hand or have trouble holding, but at the same time it's also very light, so it doesn't put too much strain on your hand. These pens are designed to be messed with and to be modified as much as you wish. I've heard of people putting in dip pen nibs and modifying these to make them finer, and modifying the feeds and heat setting the feeds. Most of the parts I believe are available for replacement. You can get spare feeds, spare nibs, and even the cheap price. If you break something, it's not a major hazard. They are quite robust. I've never had one break or crack on me. They barely even scratch. So they're quite a robust, nice pen, and they do quite a good job of actually writing. But yeah, so not much else to say about the pen. They're fairly synonymous nowadays, and with a price point of around, I think it's $20, they're quite a good buy and recommended for first-time flex pen users if you know how to modify the ink. It's not difficult to increase ink flow, but I'll show that in the next part of the video. Thanks. Okay, so here's the Noodlers Ahab. I'll show you, get a close up on this nib. As you can see, the slit runs from in here all the way out to the nib. On the side it says Noodlers Ink Co. And on the back here you got your ebonite feed. As you can see in this one, I purposely misplaced it just to show you how to fix this up. Alright, so let's have a look. I haven't inked this pen up yet, but I'll go through some stuff. I found when removing and putting these nibs in, if you don't want to damage your breather tube, the best thing you can do is push this in all the way and then pull out your nib and feed. Because what happens is you get this bit here that comes out, and that can get damaged or broken or bent. Now this is your feed here. I don't know how well this is going to show it. There we go. So you can see all the fins, and let's see if we can get that channel. There you go, you can see that channel cut up the middle there. Now it does help to clean these feeds beforehand with a bit of soap and a nail file brush, just to make sure that all the oils are gone, to prevent skipping and other issues. Just giving it a blowout. Like I said, I haven't actually done anything to this pen yet. I might just go give it a quick clean. Okay, so I'm back. I've given the nib and feed a clean off with some just detergent and a nail brush. Sorry about that. It's come up quite good. What you can do is, if you start having ink flow problems, you can run a blade. Let's see if we can get it in here. On the right hand side here, a lot of these channels, there we go. On the right hand side here, a lot of these channels actually have little walls. They're not quite cut all the way through. So what you can do is, if you need more ink flow and you've tried adjusting the nib and it doesn't work, you can run a razor blade through across like that, and it'll just break down that little wall on the side and allow more air to go through, therefore giving you more ink flow. That's a fairly common and easy procedure to do. I don't actually have a thin blade, but just pretend this is one. Grab a bit of shim. Alright, so say this was a razor blade, just insert it between the fins like that and drag across. I've done this on my demonstrator that played up a little bit, and it fixed that up real easy. Alright, when putting these back in into the section, like I was saying before, if you're looking, you keep that plunger pushed in, then you look in the side here, and let's see if we can see a little bit of a lip just around there, that part that's a bit highlighted there. Well, your nib needs to be in this section here where that lip isn't. If you have a demonstrator, you can actually see a little bit of a cutout section here. On my clear demonstrator, you can actually see that quite clearly, which I don't have on hand at the moment, but it's not a major issue. So you put your nib in, your feed will run up inside that shaft in there. Then you line your nib and feed up. I normally like to have a bit of a gap. There we go. About that size. I'm just going to grab a quick drink. Alright, so you have a bit of a gap there. You can grab your nib and feed and just push them in. And if that's lined up properly, it'll go in quite nicely. Your nib won't go in too far, and it's probably set up about right for where it should be. So we'll put some ink in this and see how it writes. The only other thing that you can do when setting these pens up is you can dismantle this whole back piece. You remove this, you unscrew that section, then you can push your plunger all the way out and put silicone grease in the middle. I've already done that with this one. It's probably the first thing I do on every pen. But yeah, alright, we'll put some ink in. Today I'm using Waterman's Serenity Blue. Blue ink and nice, easy to clean out. So you put it in and you draw it up. Just wipe the nib off. Alright, there we go. So as you can see, the ink's now in here. You will have a bit up here, but that doesn't matter. Put this back on. Oops, sorry about that, my phone's going off. Alright, so let's see how this writes. Alright, down here. So skipping a little bit when with no pressure. I'll open it up and see what happens. See, so I'm having a few issues here with no ink flow. So what we can do, I'll just go grab a knife and I'll be back. Okay, so I'm back. I didn't have any blades, but I had the a safety razor blade, so I'll use that. So you need to pull your nib and feed out. Yes, I'm going to get inky doing this, but I'm not too fussed. Then what you need to do is run the blade between these feeds and open a couple up. You don't want to open up too many at a time, otherwise you can accidentally make it too inky. I'm just going to run a bit of shim through there, get any garbage out that I might have put in. And I'll put my nib back in, about the same distance out again. Now I'm having issues getting that breather tube back in. That can be always a problem. Sometimes you'll have to take it out and stuff around a bit. There we go. Be sure to align the nib and feed up properly. There we go. We'll see how that goes now. With a bit of luck, that might solve the problem. Might make it a bit wetter. There we go. Oh, isn't that a lot better? Yes, I know my writing's not the best, but hey. Now it's a much wetter pen when writing without pressure, as you can see up here. And you can see there where it didn't have any ink coming out. A little bit of railroading is probably my fault for rushing it a bit quick. But if you want more of an ink flow so you can move a bit quicker, you can cut some more fins further up, and does quite a nice job. The nib on this one is a little bit rough. Let's have a look. Okay. Nib tines are slightly misadjusted, so if you look down at the end of the nib, you can see that they're a little bit misaligned. So I'll just realign those. There we go, that's a lot better. Oh, get some ink coming out. So it's riding a lot nicer now, and obviously you can mess around with the nib, tidy it up, line it, make it smoother, whatever you want to do with it. But now it does have a lot better ink flow than it did a minute ago. You can continue to mess around with it to make sure you get a good consistent flow. They do run a little dry, so that's just something you have to be aware of. Alright, so the Ahab, nice pen to mess around with, and yeah, does a good job of flexing. As you can see, the line variation here is pretty good. It's not as good as some other pens, and I'll show you my Conklin in a minute, which I'll do a compare as well while I'm at it on the next video. So, hope you enjoyed this and it helps you a little bit. Like I said, with the Ahabs, don't be afraid of messing with them. You can buy spare feeds and nibs. Pretty much all the parts are spare, and even then, there's still a cheap pen to buy. So, I hope that helps and you have fun with your Ahab.